How's it going, guys? It's Diego from SGN, and I am here with the second edition of Mortal Monday. The first one was all about my predictions for MK11's roster, so if you haven't seen that yet, definitely go check that out. And this episode's all about the 5 things I want to see in MK11's Krypt, starting off with lots of costumes. Now, the MK9 and MKX Krypts were very, very good, but in my opinion, they lacked the quality content to really drive you to want to go out there and unlock every single thing, to put in so much effort, so much time, and unlock all those coins to unlock everything in the Krypt. That was a real pain in the ass, and it really was a time-consuming thing, and the content, in my opinion, was lacking. And I think that if they can add lots of costumes, not only is it something that's people like, okay, this is something I can actually carry over to the gameplay, but it's also something that's relatively easy to do, at least as far as, like, based on what they did with MKX, where they had so many costumes, and I think they're probably going to want to use the same approach they had in MKX, which was basically spam microtransactions and spam not collectibles, but packs with costumes and stuff like that. But I would love to see a lot more of that stuff be in the Krypt, because they had a lot of really good costumes in MKX, whether it was the Aliens pack or the free DLC skins, like for the classic skins, or even the Samurai packs. All that stuff was really, really cool looking, and I want to see more of that be in the game. But I want to see it not be hidden behind a paywall. I want that to be all unlockable, because when you're going through a Krypt, as badass as MKX's Krypt was with all the puzzles and how awesome the environment was, the atmosphere, if the content isn't all that great, then you aren't really driven and incentivized to really unlock everything. And I think that having lots of costumes that you can take and play online with, you can play against your friends with, it really, really adds a lot of customization, which is something that's very, very important nowadays, not just in fighting games, but in all gamings in general. It's really, really important, and I think that would go a long way to making the Krypt not just cool to walk around in and, unlock a bunch of stuff in, but to also complete and really carry over stuff into gameplay. Number 4 is unlockable music. Now, Mortal Kombat has always been known for its music, especially in the early days. Like, the character select screen from Mortal Kombat 1 is iconic. It's as iconic as it gets in terms of video game music. MK2 had excellent music throughout. MK3, not quite as good, but still very, very high level. Now, from MK4 on, in my opinion, the music has died down in terms of quality and in terms of just how iconic and memorable it is. Of course, there are some tunes here and there throughout the various games, but nothing anywhere near as good as MK1 and 2 and MK3 even. So I would like to see MK11 return to glory with some really, really awesome music, and I would like to see a lot more unlockable music than there was in the last one. If I'm not mistaken, there were a few tunes here and there, but I don't think you'd actually listen to them in-game, or maybe it was like random, but I want to see it in MK11. I want to see each stage maybe have even 2 or 3 different tunes. That way, when I go to play, like, if I like this one more than the other one, I have that, and I want to listen to that, and I want to see them bring back music that is also awesome to listen to outside of the game. Like MK1 and 2, especially MK2, a lot of the music, like, it transcends the game. It's like, when I'm walking around, when I'm jogging, when I'm lifting weights, or when I'm just hanging out, whatever I'm doing on the internet, I can pop in MK2 music and be extremely entertained and have the nostalgia to it, but also the music is just so damn good. I think the MK11, they need to do that. That way they can release the soundtrack as well, have something that's truly memorable, and really set it above the rest of the games in terms of basically from the 3D era onward in terms of music. Number 3, I want to see a lot more behind-the-scenes content. Now, the concept art in MKX was okay. The big problem with MK9 was almost all of the concept art was in the collector's edition, booklet, and it was cool to look at. But realistically, concept art is one of those things that you look at it once, maybe twice, maybe even 3 times. But once you see it those few times, there's pretty much no reason to look at it anymore. And that was the big problem with MKX. Like, the majority of things that I would unlock were simply, concept art with like 3 or 4 pages of descriptions of what went into the concept, what changes they made to the actual art itself, and how they implemented it into the game. Now, that's cool. Like I said, for 2 or 3 times that you look at it, it's really cool. But I want to see things like, meetings for fatalities, or even the way they animate them, with the full motion capture costumes and all that stuff. I want to see all that stuff, how they go into things, how they develop things, and have videos about it. Not just having concept art, but also having videos, having maybe interviews with the developers, talking about as the game develops, what they do, what changes they've made from the previous games, and things like that. Show what the new engine is like, show all that stuff. Make things more memorable and things that you can check out a lot more often and be more entertaining as you go on. Number 2 is character bios. Everybody used to love the character bios from Mortal Kombat Deception and Armageddon. It was really, really cool going through the crypt and all of a sudden unlocking like Cabals or Scorpions or all that stuff. Even all the 3D era, almost all of them had their own stuff. And that was really, really cool because it added something that you could look at multiple times, and almost every single time you would see something new. Even though they were short, they were great ways to introduce not just hardcore fans and the stuff that they already know, but also, the casual fans that are getting introduced to the new games and getting introduced to these characters, seeing what went behind them, what their storyline is, what the developers were thinking when they had the concept of that character. And even for the most iconic characters like Scorpion and stuff like that, maybe do a new one, not just based on the old timeline, but also based on the new one. There's plenty they can do with things like character bios and things like that, things of that nature. And I think that if they can exploit that, it would make MK11's Krypt extremely good. And not just something that, like I said, you go through once or twice and you've seen it all and you're bored of it. Excuse me. But things that you can also go out there for years to come and remember that stuff, and things that can really base a lot of wiki pages and stuff like that. Just have some stuff that goes beyond, well beyond the basis, the superficial existence of the game. Have things that people want to really look at and not just be like, okay, that's a cool piece of art. And the number one thing, and this is in my opinion something that isn't plaguing just Mortal Kombat but all of fighting games in general, is secret characters. And I understand why they haven't been adding secret characters as much as they used to, and it's because of the internet. Now, over the past few years, more and more games, their files get released before the actual game drops. And that means that people can go in there, they can hack the files, and they can pretty much know every single thing that's in the game before the game even drops. And that's a big shame because obviously there's a lot of spoilers there, and there are people that aren't very nice that go out there and they don't give a fuck if other people don't want to see it, and they just spoil that shit out of nowhere. And that really ruins it for a lot of people. And most hardcore fans are going to be either on Discord with another cast, or they're going to be on some forums and stuff like that. So everybody's going to see that stuff immediately, whether you like it or not, unless you just absolutely avoid the internet. And who wants to do that, and who's really going to do that? So I understand why they're not doing it, but still, how awesome would it be if you're in the crypt, all of a sudden, after 2 hours of unlocking stuff, you hit B34 or some other random number, and you get this character that you didn't know was in the game, nobody knew it was in the game, and you're like, oh my god. That just gave me an actual reason, apart from unlockable music or lots of costumes or behind the scenes content or character bios, to go out there and complete every single thing in this crypt, to put in all those hours, to spend all those coins to get every single thing in there. Because if there's one character, there might be two, and there might not even be two, but the sole fact that there was at least one secret character in there that isn't just unlocked through playing the story mode, that would be fucking awesome. And that would really give everybody a reason to go through there and play the game so much and keep the game alive. Who knows, maybe even add stuff to the crypt as it goes on, maybe have DLC. I'm not saying that's something that's on this list, but they could possibly do that and add more stuff to it as they go, and that would be extremely awesome. And I want to see secret characters come back, because whether it was Reptile and MK1, whoever else, like Smoke, all those guys from MK2 and 3, just have all that stuff in there, have secret characters unlockable in the crypt. That would make the damn thing so fucking awesome, and it would by far make it the best crypt that we have seen in a very, very long time, alongside the 4 other things I mentioned on this list. Now, I want you guys to let me know in the comment section down below what stuff you want to see in the crypt. Do you agree with what I said? Do you disagree? What are the things that I listed do you like, and what do you don't like? And just let me know all these things in the comment section down below. This is all about community, and I'm looking forward to seeing what each and every single one of you guys say. And I want to say thank you so much for everybody who's been subscribing to the channel lately. I've been having a big boom lately from my standards, of course, not compared to the big channels, but for my standards. A lot of views, a lot of comments, a lot of subscriptions. So thank you so much to everybody who's been participating on this channel. And I hope to see you guys continuing to do so, and a lot of the new people also joining this channel. And that is it for the video. If you enjoyed it, please smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. That way every single time I put out a video, you will get the notification. You can just check it out immediately. And that is it, guys. Check out Fatal Friday coming this Friday. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.